Heyo, Hudson here with Planet 4 Gaming. I'm flying the ME-109 G-10. I call it the ME-109, not gonna argue with you. This is not one of my favorite planes, I'll be honest, but as a German Tier 4, it is definitely an improvement over the G6, completely because of its speed. The G6 is way too slow for me. It has a slightly better turn time than the G10, but the 109s aren't exactly turn fighters, so it's not all that important now, is it? Some of the best things about this plane are its dive speed and high speed handling. It's not very likely to over-G, and it's got a good enough turn time for you to make quick little target leads if you can anticipate where the enemy's going a bit. Other than that, the main tactics you should use when flying this plane, you should probably start out at least 5,000 meters and go further if you want. I mean, can't fly too high, can you? And hopefully you'll be above all the enemies and you can just dive down on them. If you miss or don't get them on the first run, just pull out, climb back up as high as you can, and hopefully you can set up another attack and finish them off. You start out with a single 20mm cannon in the spinner on this plane. I'm not a fan of it. The 20mm is just far too weak. So I would try to go for the 30mm as fast as you can. The hit detection on the German 30mm cannon is not that great. A lot of the times you can see it hit the enemy plane and nothing happens. But when it does hit, it is very effective. You can easily take out a fighter in 1 or 2 hits. Takes wings off, blows tail sections off, no problem. You also get 2 13mm machine guns, which don't do anything, so whatever. I tried out the 20mm gun pods, and I just didn't really like them. I thought it might be easier to hit targets with them, since you get more ammo going out there, but it just sprays all over the place, so I was not a fan. Here I am in a full game. B-17 coming at me, just blast his wing off. That was kind of a team effort. I clearly would not have... Well, I might have been able to do that all on my own, but that wasn't the case. There were like 2 other guys on that B-17, but the 30mm does tons of damage to B-17s. This is one of my best planes for taking out B-17s, honestly. I'm at under 2,000 meters. That's not really how you should start out a game in this plane, but that B-17 flew right at me, and it looks like a lot of the enemy fighters are at very low altitude, so I'm just going with it. So you got 2 fighters tailing this burning Do-217 bomber. The Bearcat's got tunnel vision. He's honestly wasting ammo on a burning plane that's going down, and was not paying attention, and that got him fucking raped. 30mm tore his wing off. Pretty typical of this plane, and now I'm trying to get out of there, but looks like 2 guys are on me. So I'm just doing some rolls to try and mess up their aim. Whoa, look at that shit. They fucked up my wing and I'm going into a flat spin, but I recover from that shit. I know what I'm doing. If you want to know how to do that, basically just mash buttons until your plane straightens out. That's what I did. Try and reverse the spin you're going in as much as possible. And there's still 1 guy on me, but not for long. It looks like my teammates have come to my rescue and sorted those fuckers out. when you're flying as the Germans, you really have to rely on your teammates a lot, because because of the tactics you have to use with these planes, they're not the killing machines that the more nimble Allied fighters can be. So if you get yourself into a tough position like that, it's hard to get out without some help from your team. Not one of my best landings there, and in fact this is an old game, probably 2 months old. I don't think I would be able to repair off of that landing in the current state of the game. It's gotten rather bitchy about what qualifies as a repairable aircraft now. But I managed to repair there no problem, so I'm flying back out. As you could see when I was flying into the airfield, with the blacked out wing, the 109 was really listing to the side. The 109s do not take critical damage well. If you get anything blacked out, it pretty much takes you out of the fight, and it's pretty hard to keep control of the plane. You have to really fight with it to keep it in the air, much less take out enemies. So, flying back out, they have very few guys left. I'm not sure if they even have any fighters left, but I've spotted a B-17. And this will give you a good idea of how I like to attack B-17s. I like to attack from the front if possible, because that makes it harder for their gunners to hit you. They have less time to concentrate their fire. But if you can get a 1,000 meter distance above them, get 1,000 meters above them, that's plenty of space for you to dive in like that. Target one of the wings, preferably the wing root close to the fuselage. Maybe you can light an engine on fire, and maybe you can do like I did and just take the whole wing off, which is even better. So yeah, the B-17s are usually not a problem for me. Their damage model is fine if you ask me. It's just the gunners are sometimes a bit overpowered, like their radar guided bullets, whatever that is. They are very accurate, is what I'm saying, and they do too much damage if you ask me. If you get hit by 150 cal from a B-17, it can really fuck up your plane. You think getting hit by 150 cal from a P-51 or a Hellcat is going to fuck up your plane? No, it's not. Fuck that. That is not going to happen. So that's my issue with B-17s. But now I think they've got one B-17 left. That should be the dot, kind of towards the bottom of my screen. And we've got plenty of fighters left, Focke-Wulfs and 109s. We just gang raped right at the start. Which the first few minutes of fighting when you're playing as the Germans really makes or breaks your team and decides who's going to win the game, essentially. If your team goes at low altitude, gets outturned right at the start, maybe you lose a quarter of your fighters, or even more, probably even more. That pretty much dooms your team right from the start. So, if you're looking to kind of lone wolf it and be able to decide the match more or less on your own, Germany is probably not the faction for you, although there's probably someone out there who can pull off some amazing shit. I'm not the best at energy fighting or really flying any of these planes. But the G-10 was requested by a few people, so I decided to fly it out. And I enjoy the change of pace, don't get me wrong. It's just not my usual playstyle. So we've got a 410 and a 190 on this B-17, and we lose for no reason, really. We lost one capture point, which... does that decide the game? Losing one capture point? I don't think so. And we still had ground targets left. So, please explain to me in the comments how that works, if you know, because I sure don't. Anyway, I consider that a win. We fucked them in the ass. It was really no contest right at the beginning. And I got 3 kills, which is above and beyond what I like to get in a game. If I get... My priority is winning comes first, surviving to the end of the game comes second, and getting a kill comes third. So I did way better than I would like. But that should give you a good idea of how to fly the 109. Maybe I didn't use energy fighting too much, which is kind of how you should be flying it. But whatever. That was my best game in the 109. Give me a break. A quick few things to note about flying the plane. The toughest enemies I go up against are the LA-7 and the LA-9. Oh, also the Spitfire. The Spitfire turns like a pro and can usually outclimb the 109 for some absurd reason. So that is one of the toughest enemies, and the LA-7 and LA-9 are both great as well. They can both easily outturn the 109, and they can gain on it pretty fast in a straight line. So if you get an LA-7 on your tail, just prepare your ass for total devastation. Easiest enemies, I think, are the Yak-9, any Yak-9, UTP, whatever, and the Mustang. I'm not afraid of the Mustang at all. I'm just gonna be honest. Most of the US players are completely retarded. Let's just get that out of the way right there. But the Mustang, even though I'd say it's better than the G-10, both in speed and turn time, I've never once been afraid going up against a Mustang. One thing about them is they over-G their wings very easily, so you could probably dive for a bit, go into a split S, just yank back as hard as you can, and if the Mustang tries to follow, he'll rip his wings off, and if he's smart, he'll pull out, so break off. So yeah, not a bad plane overall. I would ask Gaijin to fix the hit detection on the 30 mil, then it would be perfect. But overall, if you're researching Germans in Tier 4, I would go for the Focke-Wulfs. I haven't flown any of the Tier 4 Focke-Wulfs because I haven't researched them, but if I were a betting man, I would say they are by far better than the 109. I liked the Focke-Wulf A5 better than the Tier 3 109s, and if it progresses the same way, I would say the Tier 4 Focke-Wulfs are also better. And most of the player base seems to agree with me, so if you have any thoughts on that, please let me know. Until then, though, this has been Hudson with P4G. Thanks for watching, and get the fuck out of here.